All right. So when they ask you for the maximum height, when you graph this, it's a parabola because it's x squared. And because it's negative, it's an upside down parabola. So the maximum is at that point right up there, and that's the vertex. So whenever they ask you for a maximum height, it's a fancy way of them asking you to find the vertex. And you know you can find your vertex with your classic negative b over 2a.
Okay.
So it'll be negative, and they wrote them a little bit out of order. You've got y equals 56t minus 16t squared, but that's ax squared plus bx, and then the c is 0 if you're matching that up to ax squared plus bx plus c. So your b is that 56, and your a is the negative 16. So it's negative 56 over negative 32, which is not the prettiest number, is 1.75. And then you can get the y by plugging it back in. And in this case, instead of an x, we have a t. So that t is the time. So it's after 1.75 seconds, it reaches a maximum height.
Okay.
And to find that height, you plug it back in for the y. The height is going to be negative, oops, put it back into there, 56 times 1.75 minus 16 times 1.75 squared. So if you just plug that in on a calculator, it'll give you 49. So the maximum height is 49 feet, and you get that after 1.75 seconds. So that's one type of question they can ask you when they're giving you this height equation. The other type of question, part B, is actually very straightforward. What's the height of the ball after 1 second? This equation gives you the height of the ball after any number of seconds.
Okay.
So you just plug in 1 for the time, and whatever that is. So 56 minus, and that's just 40. Yep. And then the last question they can ask is when it's going to hit the ground. And so if it hits the ground, that means that the height is 0. If it hits the ground, that means that the height is 0. So you're going to plug in a 0 for the height and try to figure out when 0 equals 56t minus 16t squared.
Okay.
And when you solve something with the quadratic, we like that 0 on this side here. And we've already got that. And maybe we'll try to factor it by pulling out the negative 16, but I don't think it's 56 divided by 16. No? Okay. Doesn't go in, so we can pull out maybe a negative 4t, pull out a GCF first. 6 divided by 4. I guess I could have pulled out a 8. That would have been better, right? Because 16 and 56 both divide by 8. So you'd have 2t minus 7. And then the whole reason we factor is because if this times this equals 0, then negative 8t could equal 0, or 2t minus 7 could equal 0. So either t could be 0, so it's on the ground after 0 seconds, or t could be 7/2 at about 3.5 seconds. So after 3.5 seconds, it hits the ground. All right. Pause it there for now.